Hi everybody, welcome back to F1 Manager 24. We are with Brawn GP and we are diving into the Great Britain Grand Prix, or the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, the halfway point of the first season. Now, I just need to sort out my microphone here. I have been away for a couple of weeks, therefore these videos sort of died and didn't go anywhere, but we are still going with this series, don't you worry. This is a long-term series on the channel. We're going to get this done and we are going to get this going. We are not doing brilliant. We are 7th in the rankings. We are ahead of Haas, Williams and Kick Sauber and Alpine, who are all on 0. RB, Visa, Cash App, VCarb, whatever they're called, 21 points. They're in the position that we want to take in 6th. Mercedes 5th, Aston Martin 4th, McLaren 3rd, Ferrari 2nd and Red Bull 1st. Our drivers, Filip Drugovic, who is currently 13th in the drivers' standings, is doing okay. His personal situation is a bit negative. Doesn't like the fact that I've given all the upgrades to our car to Ollie BEARMAN. He's doing okay. Low aggression, low affinity to his race engineer. We've got him learning sort of driving standards in here as well. He's getting a bit of a boost from these things. And yeah, you can see he's got another whole year left on his contract. So we can't really bin him off just yet, to be honest. However, he's not actually done too badly. He's got 5 points for us this season in driving our lovely Brawn car, to be honest, which isn't the best. They have crashed quite a few times, but you can see here Ollie BEARMAN, overall positive mentality, enjoying everything that's going on in life at the moment. Generally low affinity with Imgard, his partnered race engineer, and he's got aggressive high. His attributes have got a good bonus going on at the moment because of his positivity. We've got him working on wheel-to-wheel racing, trying to get that overtaking and defending up in terms of facilities. Again, he's doing a good thing. We've invested a fair bit in the race simulator, which is boosting his potential as well. And overall, not doing too bad. Have a quick look at his history. He has won us 2 points this season. So he's actually won less points than Filip Drugovic. However, we are backing Oliver BEARMAN as our sort of best driver. He gets all the best stuff in the car, in car 2, and that is what we're looking for. So if we look at the powertrain, ERS is probably due for replacement. Yeah, the engine. Right, finances are our issue in Season 1. We're at the halfway point. We have $195,000 left in our kitty, and we've got 19 million left in our cost cap, 13% of our cost cap remaining, and we are halfway through the season. So it is all about trying to pick up some points, trying to pick up some money whilst not damaging car parts. That is what we're going with. We're going for the lowest sort of reward ratings that we can bring in this race in Silverstone, and that is how we're going to hopefully bring in a bit of steady money every time it's raining. Brilliant. It's absolutely tipping it down. Okay, moderate rain in practice, light rain for qualifying, and then cloudy for the race itself. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. It's full wet tyres as well, which is interesting. Right, into the car parts we go. You can see there that number 1 is pretty frequent on Filip Drugovic's car, but that's not what I'm here to do at the moment. I do want to go in and have a look at the engine. We're going to whack an old engine on the car for practice because they have now fixed that bug, which is lovely. Oh my god, our second ERS is already at 43% as well. He'll be buying a new one of them pretty soon, but this is what it's going to take this season to make sure that we keep our cars just going for as long as possible. And we're going to go for the tactic in the race of underfueling the car. Oh my god. Well, we might as well leave the one on there that's got a bit of damage, I guess, and have the 32% one in the race. We will put that 16% gearbox in for practice, though, for Ollie BEARMAN. I'm sure that'll affect him, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're going to go in the race, underfueling the car, running the engine at a lower push mode so that you can get more life out of it. We are going for that. I'll do practice. We'll be back for qualifying. See you in a bit. Okay, practice done, and not too bad either. We have 91% car setup for Drugovic and a 94% for Ollie BEARMAN as well, which is absolutely cracking. In terms of engines, we'll put the 66% engine back in for qualifying. ERS, we'll go for the 32%er, which is just not fun, is it? It's just not fun when you've got that. And we'll stick with the 49. We're going to try and run this GB7 into the ground in practice sessions that are coming up. In terms of car parts then for the Drugovic, we'll go with the 93% engine, I guess. These two will become the practice engines. The ERS, 43%. Both drivers are going to need new RES at some point. And we'll put the 69% for the lads. Gearbox in there as well. So obviously after this, there is a bit of the summer break, I think. Or do we go all the way to Belgium? Before the summer break, it might be all the way to Belgium, but we are ready and raring to go for qualifying. So let's get into Q1, see how we get on. Practice, we weren't going for pace, it was all just around getting the car set up, so we were pretty near the bottom of the timing charts. Track details, there is going to be a bit of rain, so we're going to go out nice and early with whoever that was there. We have got a new livery on the car for the British Grand Prix, a bit less in terms of sponsors happening here, but you can see it's one of the Mercedes which is going out, then followed by a Haas, a Williams, and we are just going to sneak out there with Ollie BEARMAN. Sorry, that's with Drugovic, and then we'll get Ollie BEARMAN out in just a second as well. As you can just see there. We're just going to wait, see if we can sneak out behind this Mercedes. Oh, don't go behind the Kick Sauber. Don't go behind. Yeah, in between these two would be great. Oh, the V-carbs come. They're all coming. Everyone's coming out. So we'll keep an eye on Drugovic this one. We'll let them do their thing for the first lap. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're currently P3 with Drugovic, but a lot of other people are going to set time. We got massively held up. Look how close we are now to Yuki Tsunoda in front of us. So that's what's going to be interesting here. Ollie BEARMAN is saying he's actually overtaking the Haas. He is overtaking the Haas, or at least trying to, in qualifying, which means we're going to lose time. The rain is coming, and I think Ollie BEARMAN is going to struggle here just because that Haas is so damn slow. So Drugovic is in 8th at the moment. Ollie BEARMAN goes to 15th. Not great when we've got Leclerc, Verstappen and Perez all to set a time as well. And the rain has started. Okay, so the track is drying up. We're just on 4 times speed here. More lap times coming in. Ollie BEARMAN dropped down to 17th. Drugovic in 11th. But we've got both cars ready with a new set of soft tyres each. So it's just about timing the traffic. And Ollie BEARMAN is our most important to go and get a good time, so he can go out a little bit earlier, and then we're going to send out Drugovic there. And these are the laps that are going to count. Ollie BEARMAN just has to let the traffic go past him, as Ocon and Piastri I think are on fast laps there. But yeah, Norris, you can see just wiggling around, warming up his tyres. Drugovic looks in a good spot as well. BEARMAN will get overtaken by Daniel Ricciardo here, let him pass. Norris will sit behind, but hopefully we just have a bit of clean air. Danny Rick is going to get in the way a little bit. Let's dive on board at 2 times speed with Ollie BEARMAN here. Hopefully no one gets motion sickness as signs as a mechanical fault in qualifying, which is interesting. But oh good, we passed Danny Rick at a very good location. It's greens at the moment for Ollie BEARMAN. Sector 1 is green. We do need to see an improvement. This will be his last lap, and he has got a relatively clear track in front of him here, which is lovely to see. Down in 19th at the moment. Both those cars get out the way. Lovely stuff. A green sector 2. He is improving on his time, which is good to see. It's a green sector 1 for Drugovic as well, as we catch one of the Ferraris, who I think is on an in-lap rather than a fast lap. We cross the line. Oliver BEARMAN up into 7th. It's 2 green sectors for Drugovic as well. And let's just see here, Drugovic coming around the final corner. Can he improve? Filip Drugovic up to 9th. I think we're going to be through to Q2. So we are through into Q2. The pace of the car at the moment suggests 7th and 9th on the grid, which I'm not too bad about, but it's intermediate starting tyres for Q2. So we'll dive straight into this one. Have a quick check of the old... Okay, so it's going to be... What's that? In about 5 minutes time. So around about 10 minutes, we are going to put on a used set of soft tyres on both cars, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, so our weather centre was lying to us. It is not going to get softer or lighter in terms of rain, so we do need to put on the intermediate tyres for both drivers. We will do that now, and then we're going to send them out basically as soon as they are ready. Now Russell will be coming in to do a cool down lap there, unless he's going out twice. So we'll do Drugovic and BEARMAN. Russell is going out twice. So Drugovic and BEARMAN out behind each other. We'll go on board with Filip Drugovic in this one. Again, we'll go to 2 times speed. We'll sit in the cockpit with him and see how this goes, as that's quite loud, isn't it, as soon as you come off that. Hopefully we aren't picking up too much noise. I'm just messing around with my volume levels there. But Drugovic and BEARMAN both out and about. Obviously green sectors should happen on every sector, because this one we have timed it for the least amount of water on the track, which should put us in good stead. It is very close to being soft tyres, but it is still intermediate weather, so hopefully we can set some very good sector times here, with the rain being at its minimal amount throughout our whole lap. Someone gets out of the way very nicely there. It was a Mercedes. Hopefully Ollie BEARMAN passes them without any trouble, as well as here comes Filip Drugovic. He will take 6th place at the moment in Q2, and Oliver BEARMAN is going to take 3rd place. Wowzers. And I'm going to take a risk. We're not going back out. The weather is getting worse. There is more rain on the track, more water on the track. Drugovic is in 9th. It's going to be close. If Verstappen and Leclerc, they do improve, Drugovic is going to be out. Ollie BEARMAN in 7th still goes through. I don't think Drugovic could have improved, to be honest, but Ollie BEARMAN up there in 7th makes Q3. So into Q3, and it is, intermediate tyres again for Ollie BEARMAN in this one, and he seemed to race okay in the previous, and it's going to be inters all the way through, so we may as well go and set a few laps. But what we're going to do with this one is we're going to let everybody go out, and that is now everyone, and we're going to let Charles Leclerc just go, and then we're going to get a little bit of fresh air in behind, and we will ride on board with Ollie BEARMAN. You can see how much open air we're going to have in front of us, which is absolutely awesome. And we go, here we go then. Russell is a spin on turn 16. He's going to abandon his lap, I'm sure about that, as Ollie BEARMAN at his home Grand Prix in Silverstone is going to be running this down. It's actually soft. It is actually potentially soft tyre weather, but intermediate should still be good at 0.9. They do have a sort of bracket this year, 0.7 to 1. But yeah, we shall see, because it's not getting wetter. We may is slightly getting wetter now. Again, we may have timed this for the perfect time to go out when there's not as much water on the track, but obviously intermediate tyres do prefer having some water on the track. As Ollie BEARMAN comes round, and it's going to be 9th. That is not great. I guess it's not too bad. We've been averaging 7th and around that everywhere. But yeah, okay, 9th after the first lap. Okay, once again then we are going to go out for another lap. We're going to let everybody go out, hopefully. Do we go in this gap? We are going to go in this big gap here. And we do get out in front of Alonso and Leclerc. So we are going to have a bit of open air in front of us. We have got intermediate tyres on again, and we're hoping Ollie BEARMAN can improve. Maybe jump above the 2 Aston Martins. Might be a bit too much to ask, but we shall see. As here he goes, starting his fast lap then on board with Ollie BEARMAN at Silverstone in Great Britain. It's been a rainy Q1, Q2 and Q3 and practice sessions as well, but I'm hoping that we can get this one done. As into the tight right hander, you spin round, then you go left, then you're into the hangar straight, I think it is, down here. And this is where the DRS zone opens up, so you really get to put your feet down on this, or your feet, don't put both of them down. You'll brake and accelerate at the same time. You'll put your foot down through here, the 100-yard marker, 50-yard marker. You start your braking, you turn left, a bit wide of the apex. Could have taken that potentially better. It is a green sector 1, which is very good for Ollie BEARMAN. A bit tentative on the old accelerator, but he is setting a faster time. Now George Russell is going to improve. He had that spin on his first lap, so he didn't really set a decent time. But Ollie BEARMAN has got fresh tyres on. It's in more suitable conditions for the tyres, and he needs to improve, and he has over sector 1. Can he improve over sector 2? That's what we're just about to find out as he comes through here into the second DRS zone. Didn't look like the clearest of exits there. It's not. It's a yellow sector 2, so not improving over sector 2. 100-yard marker, 50-yard marker. Turns around into the corner, hits the curb on the exit. Comes round into the windy S's to finish off the lap. Into that left-hander, round to the right-hander. And then get your foot down as you touch the curb, hit the apex, turn it into the start-finish straight, and Ollie BEARMAN doesn't improve. Gutted. He's probably going to be 10th. Well, in a strange turn of events, Ollie BEARMAN is not 10th because George Russell abandoned his lap. He did a 1:33.5 and then was going quick another fast lap and abandoned it. So, yeah, unfortunately, a 1:27 on the soft tyres was his best time. 1:32.1 on intermediates was beaten in Q3, so it is pretty much our best pace he could have put in on those inter tyres. And Filip Drugovich, a 1:32.9, sees him 8/10 off his teammate, but with a worse car. So Drugovich not doing too bad, but it is time for the race, and we're not going to listen to Crofty in this one. It's a cloudy race, so hopefully there is no weather warnings, which is lovely. I'll sort out the strategy. We'll be right back. Okay, we've got both drivers going for a similar strategy, but on different pit stop times. So BEARMAN's going to come in first, then Drugovich onto the softs, and then it's going to be BEARMAN onto the mediums, and then Drugovich onto the mediums, but pushing them a little bit harder at the end. As we said, we're going to underfuel the car and then run our engine at a lower rate. That should give us a good bit of a push off the line. Will be a bit lighter, but obviously we do need to then factor in that we'll be slightly slower in the race because we're going to be pushing our engine less. We need to make our engine survive. £10 million it costs to buy an engine, and I don't think our cost cap's going to enjoy that. But both drivers starting on the mediums, pushing from the off. Let's get into it. Decent qualifying sessions for both. It's not out of the ordinary or out of the question that Drugovich could potentially get into the points from 12th. You never, ever know. Verstappen, Norris, I think it's Leclerc, and then it's Perez, I think, in the top 4. So we are away, and we're looking at Filip Drugovich at the moment. Let's look at Ollie BEARMAN. He did qualify the highest in this one as Ollie BEARMAN, after a start 8th, 9th, battling with Lance Stroll, which is never a good thing. We do have an Aston Martin sandwich around us here, which isn't nice. Alonso in front, Stroll behind. Stroll will get us here, but we'll have the inside. And we're just about to squeeze Lance Stroll out. Yes, we are. When we get through. Drugovich down in 13th, battling with the Mercedes of Russell and Hamilton. Alexander Albon behind him as well. But the brawn of Oliver BEARMAN is up into 8th place at the moment on the back of Fernando Alonso. Everybody, we've got the 3 out the front went softs, then we got a host of mediums and a bunch of softs again at the back. So a different mixture of strategies happening in this one, but it's a good start from Ollie BEARMAN. He has had a good start there, and you can see how much we've underfueled the car, quite a lot, and we are pushing from the off to try and get this done. No mechanical failures to note in this one from the beginning of the race, so the AI may have learned a couple of lessons. But we're getting some good action here. Can we get into helicopter cam just to see how close Oliver BEARMAN is to Fernando Alonso in front of him? Now, obviously, the age range between these two is absolutely huge. It may well be the eldest versus the youngest on the grid in this. I think that might be the case in this battle that we're watching here. But all so far starting well and good as Oscar Piastri is out in front ahead of Max Verstappen. Leclerc is behind him, so there is Piastri. Overtake failed from BEARMAN. Don't worry about it too much, mate. It's very early doors, and that is what his race engineer is telling him. We have Verstappen, Leclerc chasing him, Sainz chasing Leclerc, Perez in behind there, Norris in 6th, Alonso in 7th with Oliver BEARMAN right behind him. Lance Stroll in 9th. He's just struggling to keep up with the young Englishman. Ricciardo in 10th, Russell in 11th, Hamilton in 12th with Drugovich on his gearbox as well. Albon and Ocon see out the top 15. We'll go back to looking at Oliver BEARMAN, who is going for the move. We come back just in time to see it, but Fernando Alonso breaks later and gets round the outside, keep that position. But it's good to see that Ollie BEARMAN is having a little fight with Fernando Alonso. We do love to see that. So it's about 1.5 laps down, and we currently sit in 8th and 12th as Filip Drugovich has got past Lewis Hamilton. He's on those soft tyres. Filip Drugovich just up the inside. It's a lovely move from the Brazilian, and Filip Drugovich gets through. That is up to 12th. And he's not got one Mercedes, he has got two. Filip Drugovich around the outside of the other Mercedes, George Russell, and he is now up to 11th and flying, the Brazilian, in his, well, underdeveloped car, let's be honest. So driving on board with Filip Drugovich at the moment, who is right on the back of Daniel Ricciardo. He's going to go and have a little look, both of them with DRS. I don't think he's going to quite have enough to get this done, the Brazilian driver, but both are closing in on Lance Stroll in 9th place. So Drugovich is having a look here at Daniel Ricciardo for the last points paying position, and he is racing very well. He's up the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, up into 10th. A really good move from our young Brazilian driver, just over the curb a little bit too much, but he is now going to be on the back of Lance Stroll with DRS when we get to the next zones as well, so that is good. And Ollie Bearman holding it together with the more experienced Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez in front of him. Perez has been left behind by Norris, who's picked up a mechanical fault, but we're in a good position at the moment with both drivers. Oh, we've just been flagged up. Ollie Bearman has a mechanical fault. He's not out of it, but it's a mechanical fault for Ollie Bearman. Not looking good. What is it? It's his powertrain. It's a reduced charge temporary on his ERS. So it's a temporary issue for charging, which means he's just not going to be able to do as much as he would like. So he has dropped a bit of pace to Alonso with that issue. But I was focusing on Drugovich, to be honest. We've just put him into top up. Oh, and Daniel Ricciardo snuck through with DRS. His rear wing, it looks like it's still open. He may have a fault there, because that's going to slow him down in the corners, but make him absolutely rapid in the straights. We'll put the battle assist on just while I was focusing on Bearman. And yeah, Ollie Bearman is 2 seconds ahead of Lance Stroll, but is losing a lot of pace to Fernando Alonso. So we need for that to be sorted out. Hopefully that changes, or well, hopefully it remains as a temporary one and it is fixed. But we do know that ERS is going to be an issue because Oliver Bearman's car is knackered when it comes to ERS. So Filip Drugovich still having this battle here with Daniel Ricciardo for the last points paying position. A few of the lead drivers who are on the softs now start to come into pit. Ollie Bearman's mechanical fault has meant that Lance Stroll has caught up with him as we're on lap 15. Yeah, he just cannot get any charge into that battery, and it is not fixing itself at the moment, which is very, very annoying. We are approaching the pit window for the drivers, so we'll have to see how this one goes. Drugovich is going to lap 20, Oliver Bearman going to lap 17, 18. We'll see how he can do, but Piastri has come into the pits. He's gone for another set of soft tyres. Verstappen pitted as well. He's on a set of soft tyres. And yeah, we've got, well, Norris is on an orange mechanical issue now. So this is going to prove to be an interesting race, as that is Fernando Alonso going up the inside of Max Verstappen, who's on fresh soft tyres. So I assume he'll get that place back pretty quick. Ollie Bearman has been passed by Lance Stroll. We just need this issue to be sorted, to be honest. Drugovich passed Daniel Ricciardo, but struggling to create a gap. We may have to just basically yeet all of his battery and see if we can get that done. But at the moment, he sits in 10th. I'm going to imagine that Daniel Ricciardo's tyres are dropping off. No, they're not. 54. He's got more than us left. Bearman and Stroll pretty similar. Verstappen 96. Leclerc out in front on 43% softs. Maybe going for a one-stop. Hamilton on 37% softs. Tsunoda, Bottas all going to be due a change pretty soon. So Ollie Bearman into the pits then from the 8th position. He has followed Norris and Alonso in. So it looks like we're on similar strategies to the McLaren and the Aston Martin drive. You can see Alonso going out there. But Ollie Bearman struggling with that ERS issue. It really has slowed him down. Drugovich won't be far off the pits as well. It's a decent stop, 2.6, not bad for Ollie Bearman. Out he comes. He's going to be in traffic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if he's got that ERS issue, he basically needs to get DRS off somebody, and it looks like that is going to be Lance Stroll, which isn't too bad. The issue is still going on, which is annoying, that temporary charge issue, but it seems to be sticking with the car forever, to be honest. But Ollie Bearman now onto his soft tyres for a little stint with them. Out in front of Hamilton, which is keen. Drugovich obviously going to be pitting in soon, as will Daniel Ricciardo as well. But Bearman should hopefully be able to keep within DRS of Lance Stroll, and that will help pull him along and maybe even get in front of him. Who knows? His charge is dreadful with that fault. It is very, very irritating. So Drugovich, believe it or not, may be our best chance of points for today. He is going to be pitting at the end of this, well, next lap. So Drugovich comes in. Danny Rick stays out, which really surprises me, but Filip Drugovich is in. He should come out just behind Ollie Bearman, who is still keeping pace with Lance Stroll, which is decent. He may come out behind Lewis Hamilton, depending on the stop, but he's going to be going to a soft tyre and not pushing it as hard to extend it a little bit more, allowing him to push a bit harder on his last set of mediums. It's a 2.4 stop, so it's good. He's going to come out behind George Russell, I think. Obviously, we're going to have fresher tyres, and we're going to be on the softs, and Filip Drugovich doesn't have an issue with his car, so he may be able to fly up a few positions here, but we shall see. P14 it is for Drugovich, where he comes out. He is going to be a long, long way off George Russell, though, which is a shame. Alex Albon is behind him. Yeah, it looks like Mercedes may have got the strategy right on that one, but we'll have to see. It doesn't matter now, does it? It's the end of the race that counts. And with a damaged car, Ollie Bearman can still get past Lance Stroll with the DRS open, gets past him and sneaks in front on those soft tyres and holds the position well. He is up into 10th into the points. So believe it or not, Ollie Bearman's on a stroll. He goes from 9th to 8th by getting past Lance Stroll again, because we've both overtaken Lewis Hamilton. But maybe that takes him from 10th to 9th, actually. I have to double check that. But yeah, we have been doing pretty well. Ollie Bearman, no, he's up to 8th. I did get it right. But now Stroll takes him back. And there we go. But Filip Drugovich is closing the gap on George Russell. So both drivers doing very well at the moment. As you can see, I'm watching it in 8 times speed, whilst it's all DRS trains all around, really, at the moment, with occasionally flicking back into 1 or 2 times speed to just make sure that we can manage what's happening nicely. 9th, Oliver Bearman has dropped off from Lance Stroll a little bit, but we can't do anything with his ERS to help him along because of that fault that he's got. But yeah, we are doing okay. Drugovich, would like to see him close the gap a little bit more. 1:34.5. Russell putting in a lap that was 2 tenths quicker than him. So we could potentially match up Ollie Bearman's strategy and go to the mediums a little bit earlier. But I think we're going to see how this goes. George Russell is on the mediums right now. So in theory, we should be quicker than him at the moment. But it could just be the car. Drugovich doesn't have many upgrades. But 30 laps of 52, just about to come to a close. And at the moment, we sit in 9th and 13th. So it's not dreadful. And Ollie Bearman is still just about hanging on to the DRS of Lance Stroll. When he has an ERS issue, that is very impressive from the young British driver. And music to our ears, the man in front of Filip Drugovich, George Russell, has a mechanical issue. Plenty of mechanical issues all over the grid at the moment. Leclerc, Norris, Oliver Bearman, George Russell, Zhou, Gasly and Kevin Magnussen. Can Norris nurse that home? He's got 20 laps. It's going to be tough. He got that orange warning very, very early on. But yeah, we're doing all right. Fuel may be an issue. It's going to be touch and go, but I think we should be potentially okay. We'll have a look. But P13 for Drugovich, 9th for Bearman, who has now lost a bit of pace to Lance Stroll as the soft tyres start to just lose their pace. You can see Stroll's mediums lasting a lot longer, but Hamilton has pushed his Sonoda on 38% there. Verstappen out in front does come into pit. I assume he's going to be going on to the medium tyre to see out this one. We'll just have a quick look, because he's only a few laps different to Ollie Bearman in terms of strategy. As you can see, Drugovich is going to have to, I think we're going to have to change Drugovich's tyre. Oh, was that a slow stop for Verstappen? Not too sure, but I also, out of all of that, didn't see what he went on to. Yes, mediums. Piastri is in. He's going to be coming off his soft tyres, going onto a set of mediums as well. So, yeah, it looks like the guys out in front doing two set of softs and a medium are going to have some very good pace at the moment. But Ollie Bearman will be our next pit stop, and then I think the lap after that will bring in Drugovich and slightly change up his strategy as well. So in comes Ollie Bearman for his stop. I think we are going to send Drugovich out on one last lap, get him onto aggressive, and then we'll get him in on the next one. But Bearman pits from 9th. He was battling with Lance Stroll, so I think Stroll's going to go a little bit longer and put the soft tyres on at the end. George Russell's mechanical issue seems to have disappeared. They seem to have managed to fix that. Good stop, 2.6 for Ollie Bearman. Not bad at all. There's going to be no traffic, which suggests that his teammate is going to pass him when he's in the pits. Yes, he does. So at the moment, we're running 10th and 11th because Oliver Bearman is out in front of Daniel Ricciardo, which is lovely. And Filip Drugovic is there as well. So as he's running those tyres, let's get him onto his mediums for his next stop, his final stop, hopefully. And then it is just going to be a case of, yeah, watching the fuel and hope that we can just nurse it over the line. And here is Filip Drugovic following Fernando Alonso into the pits, and I think these two have had the same strategy for the whole race, to be honest. But this should bring us out in front of Albon, I think ideally is where we want to be. It looks like we may actually lose a little bit of time here, but he's going off the softs onto a set of medium tyres. And again, another decent stop, 2.4, good stop from the team there. And if we can get out in and around Albon, we should be pretty good, to be honest. But what we do need to do is make sure Sainz now has a mechanical fault as well. He's in the pits as he picks up his mechanical fault. We just need to change that down to standard, otherwise they aren't going to reach the distance we want them to. But 36 laps gone, all scheduled pit stops are done. And now it's just a case of allowing the drivers to do what they need to do. Oliver Bearman up in 10th, holding on to that final points-paying position, but does have Lewis Hamilton behind him, who I think is going to be lapping faster because of the issue that Oliver Bearman has. He's basically lacking battery for the whole of this race, which is very annoying. And the one thing I can learn from this, don't underfuel the car as much as I have done for Silverstone. We've always got to learn. You've got to be learning all the time. Okay, so this is Ollie Bearman, and if he gets lapped by Max Verstappen, who is behind him, that will be the end of the race, and we'll pick up 10th place, and we don't have to worry about it. Drugovic is in one hell of a ding-dong battle with Daniel Ricciardo right now, and he's just got past him to go up to 13th, which is awesome. We're hoping Daniel Rick's tyres just die off a little bit. We are asking Drugovic to push a little bit more, both drivers to push. But Ollie Bearman has had such a good race with this ERS issue. He's done really, really well. And the Alpine in front, which I think is Pierre Gasly, is being told to get out of our way. We're probably going to be told to get out of Verstappen's way. But again, that's not too much of an issue as long as Russell doesn't sneak through as well. But yeah, because we're back on with fuel. Fuel is fine. Ollie Bearman's been nursing this ERS problem all the way around. Is that Pierre Gasly or is it Esteban Ocon? It is Pierre Gasly in front of Ollie Bearman. And that's allowing... Oh, I think we've let Verstappen through. And that is George Russell. And it's all Pierre Gasly getting in the way. So if Pierre Gasly lets us go, please hold up George Russell. He doesn't. So it's going to be a fight to the end. No, we've been lapped. We've been lapped. That's wonderful. We have been lapped. Max Verstappen is going to cross the line. And Ollie Bearman is going to get 10th with an ERS issue. He picks up a point. A really good race for Ollie Bearman there. He's done really, really well. And can Filip Drugovic hold off Daniel Ricciardo? That's all we care about at the moment. As he comes around the last few corners, can he hold off Daniel Ricciardo? Get rid of that ERS battle assist. Just deploy everything you've got. These are your final laps. Filip Drugovic to take home 13th in the British Grand Prix. That is going to be 2 sponsor payouts. That is huge. And we pick up a point with Ollie Bearman, who had a fault for pretty much the whole race. Great stuff. And Lando Norris, he is going to finish with that fault at the end there. He does get across, but 10th for Ollie Bearman, 13th for Drugovic. In all honesty, I'm happy with that. So although Ollie Bearman goes down 1 position, I'm really not that worried. He picks up a point for us, which is what we need. It was the V-Carbs that we're battling, and they didn't pick up any points at all, which is lovely. Drugovic did get a moral victory over Daniel Ricciardo, so both of our cars beat what I would argue is both of the lead driving Red Bull cars or RB cars as well, which is lovely, as Bearman finishes ahead of Tsunoda and Drugovic is ahead of Danny Rick as well. So with that one, Filip Drugovic stays 13th, but Oliver Bearman nearly catches him up. 1 more point for the Bearman, which is good. And in the Constructors, we still sit 7th, but we do gain a point on RB up there. Visa, RB, Cash App, the V-Carb, Red Bull, which is such a bad name. And Brawn GP up there. We've finished all 12 of 12 races so far. But at the halfway point then, we picked up 18 points. Well done, Filip Drugovic. So in the past, we're third. We're third in the fastest pit stop race. That's the one that matters. That's the one we care about. That is lovely. Yeah, good stops all round. 2.4 second stops for Drugovic. 2.6 is for Ollie Bearman. Not worried about that. hopefully Oliver Bearman's car is okay. But yes, look at that. They don't have any contract bonuses in there because they're so young, but we get over $500,000 for the bonuses that we've paid out on that one as well. I've got a feeling we could have done medium on both and got a bigger payout, but I'm not going to be greedy. I'm happy with what we've got, and that is the end of the British Grand Prix. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Ollie Bearman's gone from positive to medium, and Djokovic has gone from medium to upset, but we're not going to worry too much about that. We have the Hungaroring in Hungary coming up pretty soon, to be honest. It shall be just beyond the halfway stage. We've had sporting votes in regulation. I was going to improve the sport. Taking this into consideration, do I want the engine limit to go down? No, I do not. Propose against this regulation. We don't have any money to buy new engines. The investigation is complete. We continue to design and research any car parts on all projects will be resumed. And yeah, that's the feature race from before. I think we did okay in that one, but what have we got here? Rear wing install replacement. That's lucky. Everything is slowly dying a death, so that money we've just earned, we'll probably have to go into doing that. Powertrain units are all fine, which is good. In car 2, the suspension, brilliant. We're going to have to manufacture some suspension. Hungary is in 11 days. That gives us a bit of time. Let's do 2. I feel like we're going to need 2. Let's do 2. I want to make sure that is the right one. S2, confirm that for 600,000. No, we're going to have to do 1 because we're going to have to balance our money. So for 300,000, we'll do 1, which will come on before that. Is there anything else? It was just suspension, but chassis, front wing, and underfloor all struggling as well. The ERS does seem to have shaken its problem. We've got to get to the summer break. We've got to get to the summer break, and then I think we'll probably go okay, and we can start manufacturing different parts as well. So looking at Hungary then, the rank on grid is the 11th. We're the 11th best car on the grid, so we should be fighting for points, although Ollie Bearman is 5th on the grid in terms of Hungary. This could be a good race for Ollie Bearman in car number 2. Let's hope that it pans out like that. We'll be back for the Hungary Grand Prix in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.